Hey, what's going on, guys? Nikos here. In front of us we have Autel Evo II Pro and DJI Mavic 2 Pro. In today's video we will compare the total flight time. With the first battery we will hover in place, both quads, and with the second battery we will put both quads in a continuous movement in orbit flight. As you know, both quads have significantly the same amount of flight time. Evo 2 is rated at 40 minutes, whereas Mavic 2 is rated at 31 minutes. Don't forget that these flight times are under controlled environment. But before we proceed with the test, I want to mention two things. The first one is that Evo 2 battery has only 2 cycles, whereas Mavic 2 has 12 cycles on it. And the second thing is that I have set the low battery warning at 20% and the critically battery warning at 8% for both quads. Let's start. Guys, look the stability of these drones. I'm not keeping the controllers, the controllers are on the ground. So, even though that both quads went on auto landing at 8%, they still have a remaining battery capacity that gives about 2.5 minutes for each. We never want to run our battery down to zero because it's not safe for the battery, and please avoid to do that. As you all noticed, the biggest flight time in hover is the Evo 2 Pro with 30 minutes and 55 seconds. Mavic 2 Pro landed first with total flight time 23 minutes and 30 seconds. As you realized, guys, the first part is finished. And now we will continue with the second part, the orbit flight. Now, while checking the total flight time in a continuous orbit flight, I will show you guys side by side footage of the Evo 2 Pro versus the Mavic 2 Pro, and I will try to mention some of the differences I was able to see between these drones. So let's move into the side by side footage, and as you will notice, I kept Mavic 2 Pro resolution at 4K and 30 frames per second, whereas I tried to test 4K and 6K resolution with up to 60 frames per second on the Evo 2 Pro. I started this video by comparing the total flight time, but to be honest, I was pretty impressed by the quality out of the Evo 2 Pro. The Evo 2 Pro, as far as quality wise, came out really clear. In my eyes, the Evo 2 Pro just out of the box is very sharp. Of course, depends on your preference, but if you take a closer look and re-watch the side-by-side videos, you will notice that Evo 2 Pro is very, very sharp. If we want a real comparison, we must do a couple of quick shots in log mode. Now let's get back to our main subject in this video, the total flight time. So the orbit flight has finished, and now let's see the final result. To tell you the truth, I didn't expect something different concerning the total flight time in orbit mode. Evo II Pro gave us 28 minutes and 23 seconds with 16% remaining capacity, whereas Mavic 2 Pro gave us 22 minutes and 22 seconds with 16% remaining capacity. Nevertheless, these two drones are very advanced. They have adjustable ISO, aperture, shutter and white balance. This is just the basic flight test in hover and in orbit mode. The more you fly and the more cycles your battery has, your flight times are gonna vary. If this is your first time on my channel, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified when a new video comes out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong and healthy. Bye bye.